All right, all you meat lovers out there, picture it. It's 4 p.m. and you're ready for a little snack before your after-work gym class. Your desk drawer has a tempting stash of leftover candy, but you're trying to be better. You want a snack or something with clean, wholesome ingredients. Well, you got to refuel with Chomps. Chomps makes snacking simple. Their tasty meat sticks are packed with mouth-watering flavor and only the best real ingredients. I'm a huge meat eater, love some meat, and Chomps is a great, delicious snack that gives you some little protein, a little bit of pick-me-up, some nourishment with healthy ingredients that you don't have that sugar crash or the carbohydrates crash or things like that. Chomps sticks come in 9 flavors, so there's something for everyone. Or grab a variety pack to satisfy your whole family's taste buds with thousands of 5-star reviews. Snackers around the world have satisfied their hunger cravings with Chomps. Right now, Chomps is offering our listeners 20% off your first order and free shipping when you go to chomps.com/VIALL. Go to chomps.com/VIALL to see all the delicious flavors and get 20% off your first order and free shipping. That's chomps, CHOMPS.com/VIALL. Don't forget to use our link so they know we sent you.
You're crazy.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another incredible episode of the Viall Files Ask Nick edition. I'm your host, Nick, joined by truly the OGs, Allie, in studio, actually.
Yay! Pew, pew, pew!
She's back in town, packing her bags.
Yep. I love the way
Who
our
moves
household...
before they pack? Oh, wait, you moved and then you came back. Anyways.
Sometimes
I took a flight.
Sometimes you need time to get your affairs in order.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm like, obviously I love the way our family has grown. There is something so fun about when it's the three of us. Like, it reminds me of when my parents are together without my younger brother. And and obviously, like, we've all fucking adore my younger brother.
My brother.
But there is kind of this moment about being like, oh geez.
Oh, geez.
You know, like the Three
Oh,
Musketeers.
geez.
And
Yeah.
like, that's how I feel
Here we
now.
are.
Well,
The OGs.
Who else can say that they got Nick in dresses and wigs,
It's true.
filming TikToks in his home?
We've come
I
a long
know.
way.
When people are like, how long have you worked there? And I'm like, 3 years.
It's been
3
84 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been a while.
Who would have thought? And here we are.
And here we are.
And here we are.
Here we are.
All the people at home are like, God, just fire them already. Get rid of
Get
them.
rid of them. Take away their mics.
I hate them.
Shut up.
Nonsense.
No, that was,
Nonsense.
I think that's, because like, I feel like there's plenty of podcasts that will read like negative reviews and like laugh about it and clown around. And like, I feel like the review that I've come across that has like made me laugh the most that's been
Is
negative.
this your hair one?
Oh, no.
That was the funny one.
There was one woman on YouTube who was campaigning for me to do my hair. And I was like, sorry, girl, not going to happen.
No,
I saw one recently. It was like, Allie's can be extremely like juvenile and sounds like she's in high school, but occasionally has like nuggets of wisdom. And I was like, woohoo!
But you know what? Well, you know how I feel about all this shit.
Yes.
Yeah, we know.
I hear that.
Because right now, what you guys just did? You know how many people you informed and made aware
Of my bad hair?
of the yeah,
My
sure.
juvenile
unkept-
delinquents.
of your criticisms. You know, like
But
I actually
I'm the
saw.
first to talk about
I
them.
saw.
the hair comment.
No, but Blake, who we
Horseman?
yeah.
Mm.
Oh.
There was an article. He had to address something. Oh yeah, I know what it was. Yeah, that's what it was. It had something to do with Reddit commenters and whatever. So long, I think it was, he's now, I don't know if him and his girlfriend are pregnant. I don't know if they're
Giannina.
engaged. Yeah, they're
I think they're
growing their
engaged and
family.
pregnant.
Okay, so they're in a very, very serious committed relationship. And it sounds like people on Reddit discovered he had a Raya profile still active.
Mm.
So you give me this look, but like, first of all, people on like Reddit noticed it and they were talking about, I feel people who are reading their own press, it's just a waste. You're giving it oxygen it doesn't deserve. But I became aware of this story because he commented on it. He,
Right.
I can't believe I have to address this. Like, he didn't have to address it. Most people don't realize, what I'm saying? No, and he's aware of it. And yeah, probably people on Reddit and people were commenting, well, you gotta say something. And it can feel very overwhelming, especially if you have a large audience and people are commenting. But so many more people know about it because he commented on it. And then after he commented on it, Us Weekly or whoever does a story on it. until the celebrity or the bigger person comments on a story, it's not news. It becomes news when they comment. Before he commented on it, no one fucking knew about it. And the truth is, he didn't do anything wrong, because I have experienced what Blake has experienced. And I'm assuming I didn't even read his comments, but I'm assuming his comments been something like this. I've tried to get off. I've probably reached out multiple times. You can deactivate your account and they will still show you on their app. It's super fucking frustrating. A lot of apps do this. It's like trying to cancel a gym membership, on a
Or
dating.
like show up in person.
Yeah. It took me multiple attempts when I was briefly on Raya, to get off of Raya. And then after I deactivated my account, people were messaging me being like, I saw you on Raya. Like, that shit happens. But like, no one fucking knew about it. And by no one, I mean like the world. But I learned about that. And unless I knew what he was talking about, I probably would have been like, oh shit, why are you on a dating app? I would have just read the headline, and I would have been, you know what I'm saying? So he made so many more people aware of this issue. And then most people probably didn't read the article. Most probably just thought, oh, he's doing some shady shit or blah, blah, blah. And he amplified a story he didn't need to amplify.
I feel like you're going to like this, because I'm like, we have an epidemic in modern times I think we have kind of a crisis where there's not really a super effective channel for feedback. Because for me, it's like, if I'm reading a comment, it's because like I'm looking for feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe like because there's like a few, like, every now and then there'll be something really fucking nice that I'll screenshot and look at when I'm depressed. But it's also, I'm not gonna tell on myself, but sometimes people write stuff where I read it and I'm like, you are so right. I hear you on
if
that.
it resonates with you, yeah. If you're like, that's a fair criticism and it's constructive, but that's so rare.
And it feels like it's so small, the bubbles where you can actually have productive feedback. Like, I think that's something a lot of comedians talk about, is how when you first blow up and your videos go viral, how all of a sudden people who have not been following you, where there's no good faith in their comments, are just like talking whatever shit they're
want
just reacting.
to. They're at home, like having their moment and their cup of coffee by themselves, not thinking you're going to read it or pay attention to it. Not to flex, but literally millions of people listen to this show. And so when 5 people have something to say, like, come on.
But the YouTube, sometimes people will write incredibly thoughtful comments where it's like they have.
That's great. But they still don't know you. And I always say, like, you're still, that they don't know you. And
but
the only
like
difference between
on the show, like they'll structure it in a way that's really like
and it's
constructive,
nice to hear. And we appreciate that. But like you have to be careful how much power you give anyone, even if it is nice. We appreciate the nice things people have to say, but you have to be careful how much influence you let it have over you. The same way you have negative comments. Neither of these people know the work we put into the show or who we are as people, et cetera, et cetera. And you just have to be careful. And it's not just, Blake or us or, the internet, if you have 200 Facebook friends, are these really your closest friends? And now you're giving all these other people, 200 people that, you don't really engage with or talk to. And then you read their comments and then you respond. And like, I just want to let people to, and you're responding to 10 people, but you amplify it and put it out there, The best response is always no response. The key to success in 2023 is ignoring people.
And I don't think you're wrong. I just think it's such a shame because it makes it so hard for people to get honest feedback. Like, I think that's such an essential part of a relationship, is finding out how to productively communicate with your partner without like instigating a huge fight or kind of going nuclear. And when you have people who are just talking shit with no kind of care and a total disregard for you as a person, it can be hard, because if you are not talking shit, if you are giving something that you are genuinely intend to be constructive and helpful, it's so easy for the receiver of that to just lump you in with the haters, as opposed to kind of discerning that there's a really big difference between random shit anonymous trolls say and like loving people.
But there's a way to get feedback. You get feedback from your peers. You two can like ask each other, you can ask me, you could ask your loved ones, people who know you, people who might listen to the show. Maybe if you run into someone on the street and they're like, I listen to the show, and you decide to have a 5 or 10 minute conversation, maybe there's like an actual, I was wondering what you thought about the show. And like, it's more one-on-one and more intimate. You still have to be careful about like how much influence you let them have, but like, at least there's an opportunity for discourse. Yeah. There's ways to get feedback, but just don't get feedback or don't can't engage with the internet. The internet is not a place for anyone to seek out validation, and yet so many of us.
POV, you're us at 12 years old. It's midnight on a Saturday. unomegle.
Validate
me.
You're Allie. You're running a successful Royals account, Tumblr. You have a following of thousands.
That is still impressive.
No, guys, I exposed so much of myself on that account. I put far too much out there. Like I just thought people cared.
You want to give an
I'm
example?
homesick today with the flu. Just took some medicine. Like,
Nah, the Facebook.
no one signed up for that.
We were terrorizing. Facebook was terrorizing us, and we were terrorizing
I'm
Facebook.
so glad I didn't have Facebook until I was like 17.
Oh my God. It's like I don't go on literally ever unless there's one improv show I do where they post the lineup on so I will sometimes go on once a week just to check it. But when I did go on, when it was sort of like petering out, it would give you a status from like 7 years ago today. You said, any other cool kids not doing their homework? And I'm like, shoot me. This needs to come with a gun.
Let me try reading your captions from 3 weeks ago.
Your
homework. Oh
no
my
good.
God.
Mariah Carey season is upon us.
It's time. Nailed it.
Nick, I have a question. Well, 2 questions actually.
How are my ears?
One, okay, 3 questions. One, how are your ears?
Yeah.
How's your heart? And
The
how are
heart
your
is
ears?
good, yeah.
Would you ever release a Christmas album?
If I could sing, I would.
But I think it'd be even funnier that you can't sing. What if it's just a Christmas album of you talking Christmas?
I would
songs?
pay so much money to hear you
It
actually
would
try
be
to
so
sing.
fucking funny.
Would people buy it?
I
Is
would.
this a giveaway?
No, this is well.
We're
Spotify.
gonna drop this on Spotify and iTunes.
Yeah, it's like, think about it, karaoke version of Little Drummer Boy. And
Oh
you
my
just
God,
go,
please
rum,
go.
pum pum pum.
Literally sing. Come.
That was really low.
See?
I can't sing.
Louder.
I
The
don't
people
You
know.
have
can't
more
hear you.
pitch than you give yourself credit
I
for.
can't sing.
That wasn't half bad.
That wasn't bad.
I just don't know how it, like I lost my mojo back in the elementary school.
Did someone shame you
That
for your
early?
singing?
I don't know. I probably shamed myself.
Oh.
Although I do remember my choir director in elementary school thinking I was good.
Untapped potential.
Untapped potential.
It's never too late to return.
Have you taken voice lessons to sing?
No, I had to for my degree.
How do you teach someone to sing?
Oh God. I'm not a teacher.
Can
You
anyone?
put on your Maria von Trapp hat and you say,
Hello,
children.
Literally.
Maybe.
I think, I'm just saying, I would really, a very Viall Christmas.
Oh my God, that's genius.
Right?
Copyright that.
Come on.
I think it could be a hit.
Okay. Well, let you know what? Comment below.
Comment below.
If you want a very
If
vile
the demand
Christmas.
is there.
And we will disregard everything we just said in the past 10 minutes, and we will listen to your comments.
This is helpful feedback
This
that
is
we need to
helpful
know.
Well,
feedback.
you might not be a good singer, but he is good at giving advice.
Yes.
And we have a writer in her, and his name is Connor, and he needs your help.
Oh, a boy?
A boy. Let us read. I, Connor 25. I feel like this is like one of those, you know
Yeah.
what I'm thinking of? Okay.
Like, yeah, am I the asshole? Male
Yeah,
25.
Yeah. Need help getting my best friend, Max, also 25, to break up with his toxic and manipulative girlfriend, Alexis, 25. Everyone's 25. My childhood friend is in his first ever relationship, and he's overlooking very clear red flags. She moved in with him after a week of getting together. He got her a job at his company, and all our friends hate her. We've tried to have an intervention with him to get him to see that she's trying to drive a wedge between him and the friend group, but there's nothing we can say that will get him to see the situation clearly. The two of them also met initially in kindergarten and reconnected 20 years later, so he uses that as some cosmic justification that they're meant to be. There's a lot more I could say about her, i.e., she's gotten in fights with every single one of our friends' girlfriends. She's tried to break up our friends' relationships by trying to set up their girlfriends with other guys. She doesn't have a single friend outside of him. She's crashed her car 3 times. She drinks while on medication,
her
which
being a
fucks-
bad driver really has nothing to do with
But
it.
she drinks while on medication, which fucks
This
her
bitch
up.
cannot parallel park to save her life.
Uh,
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt
guys,
you.
you're missing the.
Sorry.
She drinks on medication, which fucks her up. Maybe that
Oh,
has some of the
that's
reason
really
to go with
sad.
crashing the car. I've heard you give the advice of being supportive and waiting it out till they finally wake up, but I worry that will never happen as he believes this is fate and his one shot at love. I don't know why I ended it love.
Buy my book. Step 1.
Great.
I mean, listen, I don't I feel like I'm not going to be. Yeah, there's not much you can do. He's tried the intervention thing. Pick your battles. Also, my advice is be careful what arguments you use. Again, like her being a bad driver is irrelevant to her being a partner. And yeah, the mixing medications, not great either. But again, like the friend group, like he doesn't care about the friend group the way I mean, he does, but she does. Friend groups evolve and change. And quite honestly, when you come across as like the guy who's trying to like keep the friend group, like it's just not a good argument, because sometimes your friend groups, they're not, I know you cherish them and especially in your 20s and it's fun, but those will always evolve and grow and change and die. And this won't be the last girl or woman who infiltrates this friend group. And some of these people will get married, divorced, or moved or whatever. So protecting the friend group is just a lost argument. I will say that, because when you say to him, oh, she's tearing you away from us, he's gonna not care, I guess, in a weird, he's not gonna care because he thinks he's fighting for something bigger than the friend group.
True
Fate.
love.
True love.
Cosmic
love.
justification.
So again, all you can do is you have to be incredibly patient. You have to pick your battles. And if you are going to quote unquote talk shit about her, it always has to come from a place of like, I think you, like if you want to, it's more like that you have to say something, listen, I want you to be with whoever you're happy with. But the big question is he really happy? So observe your friend, because at the end of the day, however she is with you guys or the group, like if their relationship is, and it's probably not, but like maybe they don't fight, they get along, yada, yada. Like, I mean, if he's happy, so to speak, like it's hard to break that bond. But chances are, if she's as toxic as you suggest that she is, there is going to be chinks in the armor, They probably do fight a lot. It probably has a lot of highs and lows. And so when she is being toxic with him and you notice that, you just have to remind him of how he deserves to be treated. And you just kind of say, listen, as long as you're happy, I will support you, but you deserve not to have someone talk to you that way. You have the right to stand up for yourself. You have to enable him and give him the confidence to whoever he wants. Fine, if he wants to believe in fate, great. But fate isn't an excuse and destiny isn't an excuse to allow someone to treat you poorly, to not respect you, to try to manipulate a situation. So you have to take advantage of the times of when he feels frustrated with her. But the only way that he's going to want to come to you in those moments is when he doesn't think that you like fucking hate her or you're going to talk shit about her. So you have to be very careful how much shit you talk about her. It's less about talking shit about her. It's more about building him up and making him feel like he deserves to have a certain level of expectation about how he's treated with whoever he wants to be with. And just because they met a certain way or they were in kindergarten, that he shouldn't overlook bad behavior, and if she is doing things like, if she's doing destructive things, then you should give him the confidence to, hey, like, yeah, listen, yeah, you want to take care of the people you love, but like you should call her out on this or challenge her on this. And am I making sense?
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to be very careful, like just talking shit about her and be like, she fucking sucks, man. Everyone fucking hates her. That will never work. It's just about paying attention to the moments in which he is noticeably frustrated with the relationship and he is frustrated with how she's treating him, and then take those opportunities not to talk shit about her, but to let him know that he deserves to be treated better. And there are people out there who will treat him that way, and just build him up and give him confidence. And that's all you really can do. And you do have to be patient.
Yeah, because I feel like kind of similar to the approach you take with a lot of callers of kind of reflecting back stuff they're saying. Like I found when I was sort of on the precipice of like breaking up with my ex, like the kind of turning point where it became real was when like my best friend in the whole wide world was like, I just like, it's been a really long time since I've heard you sound happy when you were talking about it, and like that was like something about that was just like the ultimate truth bomb. And like, in order for her to say that, she needed to be a resource that I felt comfortable coming to. And so it's like, it's so hard playing the long game, but you're not being complicit if you're strategically ensuring that he has other people in his life who he's talking to who care about him and can provide another perspective.
Yeah. I mean, you've heard me say a relationship doesn't care how you met and all the destiny things. But again, like I was him before, I've been your friend, buddy. And we hold on to things out of desperation. And yeah, it's just pointing out, like you said, if you see him unhappy, pointing that out and have him explain to you how he feels about her and why and what is healthy about that. Get him to talk about the relationship instead of you talking to him about his relationship. Get him to open up about his struggles or relationship. And then instead of talking shit, just make him feel like he deserves more than he's getting. And, and you have to play the long game and then make yourself available. So if it, you don't want to talk so much shit that even when it goes bad, he doesn't want to come to you because, you can say, I told you so, or whatever, or he feels ashamed or embarrassed and foolish for believing in love and believing in destiny and things like that. Empathize with him, relate to him, if you've had a relationship in the past where you struggled and you couldn't see through the forest, or that you couldn't see the light, put yourself on his level rather than just be the friend who's talking down to him and talking down about the person he wants to be with.
Yeah. And also, if you're listening to this and when you talk to your friends about the person you're seeing and you notice yourself like not wanting to include certain things or campaigning for them, either like there's some kind of like judgment thing with your friends and biases, or if it's people who you're genuinely really close to, like maybe that's a red flag. Like whenever you feel like you need to curate what you share with your really, really close friends, I feel like that's always an indicator that something is a little awry.
Yeah. Well, good luck.
Godspeed.
Keep us posted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to get an update from our writer inner. Well, we have a great episode for you lined up, some great calls. Before we get to them, don't forget to send in those questions at asknick@theviallfiles.com for all things Ask Nick's texting office hours, mediation. You know the drill. Anything else before we get to our callers?
We had an awesome update episode drop last
yeah,
Friday.
Update
Check
classic.
it out.
Yeah, check it out. It's available to all. And as always, if you're thirsting for more updates, some juicy updates that you are missing out on, if you haven't signed up or tried Viall Files Plus, it's free to sign up. You can listen to it for 7 days. Audit us. Give us a shot. Just try it out. Go to viallfiles.com. All right, let's get to our callers.
Question time with Nick. Let's ask Nick your sexy questions.
How's it going?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
My name is Julia. I'm 24.
How can I help, Julia?
I have feelings for my friend, and I'm not sure if she's into women and she's in a relationship. So,
Okay. And I'm assuming she's in a relationship with a man at this point.
yes, that is correct.
Okay. How long have they been dating?
They have been dating for, I think, 3 years.
Okay.
On and off. They were broken up for a full year during that time. And based off of the things that she tells me, I not only get her perspective, but it seems very rocky.
Sure.
And I've been told many times that they're going to break up.
Well, just for starters, gay, straight, whatever, whether she dates men, women, non-binary people, she's in a relationship right now. And until she's not in a relationship, I think she should be off limits to you, just in general, right? Let's take the, I'm not sure if she's into women out of it, and let's just see it as like someone let's say you knew she was into women, right? For argument's sake.
Yeah.
And you're her friend and she's in a relationship. She is confiding in you about this relationship. It could be argued that it's tricky because if you have developed feelings, it can almost come across as, like misleading almost in a way. If you're giving her advice at all, and I don't know what advice you're giving to her if you're just listening, but if any of your advice has to do with, well, maybe you should leave this guy and you're not happy and yada, yada, only to find out that you had alternative motives because you have this crush, it can come across poorly on your part.
I totally agree with you. And I've been very intentional of whenever that is brought up to just like abstain from opinion and not
smart
engage and not like say my opinions about him. Also, we've only been friends since July. So it's not like this is a long-term friend that if I were to in the future confess any feelings that I would feel like I just lost this like 5-year friendship.
Sure. are you more interested in her as a potential, partner rather than a friend?
Yes.
Okay. And so if you find out that she is straight as an arrow and has no interest in women, and do you think you'll like kind of just slowly stop being friends with her?
No, like, and the thing is, we've had conversations about sexuality many times, and it seems based off of what she tells me, and she's usually the one bringing up these conversations too, because I feel weird bringing it up just because I know and she knows my sexuality. And so I'm just like, I'm not going to be the one to bring that up because I think that comes across a certain way. So usually when these conversations happen, she's the one bringing it up. And she said things along the lines of, oh, will we ever know her sexuality? I don't know. I think you just have to go based off the person, stuff like that.
Okay.
That
Sure.
I don't think, based off the straight friends I have, I think you kind of know. And I don't know. She seems to be open and not like straight as an arrow, but also I just could be misreading things just because of my bias.
Yeah, there's that. How old is she?
She's 25
Okay.
and I'm 24.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, she's young, but she's not that young. I mean, listen, who knows? I mean, I guess for the time being, I think you just kind of have to let this relationship play out,
So would it be a horrible idea? Because I'm very much the person that I'm not afraid of rejection. I don't hold back often.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I am respecting her relationship. I'm not getting involved, and I will absolutely not be a part of that in any way, shape, or form. And I wouldn't even say that I'm flirting with her. I think it's very much like if you ask all my friends around me who are observing the situation, and they're always skeptics, they're all like, she's definitely flirting with you. Like, that's weird. She's leading you on. She's saying these things that are misleading because she knows you're gay. Like, and also she's very intuitive. I don't think that she would be blindsided if I were to confess this to her.
Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. And is it a horrible idea or like wrong? Would it be wrong for me to tell her how I feel when she's in a relationship, not expecting anything, but just to be like, hey, this is how I feel. Like, I just needed to tell you because otherwise I feel myself kind of distancing away from her to kind of protect myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do I owe her an explanation to my distance? Like, is that rude of me to kind of just dip away from a friend?
It's a tricky question. And my guess is for all the people listening, there's probably a variety of opinions, For example, if there's someone listening who has been a victim of infidelity of some kind or recently experienced a breakup where someone, left them for someone else, I'm assuming you don't give a shit about what her boyfriend thinks of you, but she's in a relationship, And so if you shoot your shot, so to speak, it will open up the door for you being the scapegoat for the reason that relationship ended. Plenty of people have shot their shot with someone in a relationship. It's not your responsibility to protect her relationship with her boyfriend. It's just one of those things. It will inherently get a little messier. I don't think it's a right or wrong. If you decide to shoot your shot and pour your heart out and say, hey, listen, like for what it's worth, like I think you're beautiful. I have a crush on you. I don't know. I don't even know if you're into women, but like I think you're stunning. Like she doesn't have to act on that. She, the right thing for her would be to say is, well, that's very sweet of you and really thank you for the compliment, but I need to deal with my current relationship before. I mean, that would be the righteous thing to do. I suspect that if she has feelings for you or a crush on you or has thought about you in a way outside of a friendship, my guess is she won't be as righteous, and maybe she might say like, oh, I have similar feeling. She might emotionally, I guess, cheat on you, so to speak, cheat on her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Right. Because if we're nitpicking, flirting with someone else is emotionally cheating, when you're in a relationship, telling them that if I wasn't in a relationship, I would do X, Y, or Z with you is technically, emotionally cheating, Again, it's like we've all made mistakes. That's certainly, very different than having sex with someone, but your partner would have the right to be upset if they found out you did something like that, right? Another thing, I'm just wondering if it's the pragmatic thing for you to do is to be a little more patient. And you have more experience, obviously, from, you have more experience when it comes to obviously being gay and the coming out that might, someone might experience and the sensitivity behind that. But let's assume that she hasn't been with any other women yet. And that if she does have a crush or thinks about it, you would be her first, potentially, if you shot your shot. Like, that in itself is going to be probably a whirlwind for her, And so I don't know what you're looking for out of this relationship. If it's just like, hey, I think she's beautiful, I want to make out with her and hook up, sure, I guess. But like, if you think, hey, this is a really sweet person and, I'm getting way ahead of myself, I just have a crush now, but she has characteristics that I value and would want for myself and a partner, then I think it behooves you to be patient. She's already talking to you about her rocky relationship, so let it play out. But I just think you insert yourself into some drama by shooting your shot while she's in a relationship, and then, instead of being, the first person she's been with who's a woman, you become almost like you're just setting yourself up to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to happen, right? The way I'm kind of addressing your question is just to kind of like go through the pros and cons of how I see it. I think you could easily shoot your shot, get an answer you want, everything could be fine. I don't know. Maybe I'm over analyzing this, but truth be told, like you are inserting yourself into drama by shooting your shot with this person who, you, like you said, you're not even sure if she's into women. She certainly have given you signals that might suggest that she is, right? But also, like, you have to consider the fact that, like, someone who's in an unhealthy relationship might just be, like, pining for attention, wanting to feel seen and heard and get a compliment. I have a lot of gay friends, I'm straight as an arrow, but, like, my guy gay friend compliments me. I've had a guy gay friend be like, your ass looks great in those jeans. And I don't have any sexual feelings for him, but I tell you what, made me feel good. A compliment's a compliment, It gave me intention. It was like, oh, wow, thanks, man. You really think so? Like, great. I appreciate it. And so I'm just saying she could just still be straight and still really enjoy almost flirting with you in a way, because you make her feel something that maybe her boyfriend's not making her feel right now. And you look at her a certain way that maybe her boyfriend's not. And maybe she has no plans of ever dating women, but she certainly is enjoying the attention she's receiving from you. That's possible. So this is something you want to be careful of, because you are pursuing someone who's not in a happy state of mind. They're not seeing things clearly because they're in a relationship that they're not happy with. And when we're in those types of situations, we want to fix it. We start looking for answers elsewhere. That's why people cheat, often, and so it's not the ideal situation that I'd want for you to shoot your shot with this person, I guess is the pragmatic answer. I don't think you'd be making a huge mistake if you ignored my advice and shot your shot today and said, fuck it, whatever, I'm just going to do it. But I just want you to understand the potential risks if you do it.
Definitely. And I think the reason why I'm so conflicted, if it was just somebody that, like you said, I wanted to just make out with and I was just really attracted to, I don't think I would, this wouldn't even be a question. I think it's because I actually have genuine feelings for this person that I'm like, I just want to know if she feels the same way.
Yeah.
But I agree with you about patience. That's what has been my current plan, and just hanging back and letting that play out and not being involved in it at all. And then I'll just see how that ends or not ends. I don't know, but it's just kind of the curiosity of, because I have genuine feelings. And she has given me so many hints that she feels the same way and I've confirmed this with other people. That's not just me, which usually they're skeptics, but not for this for some reason. So I don't know.
Yeah. And I think you can thread the needle. I think there's a happy medium, because I know your question was about if I don't shoot my shot, because I have feelings, I almost want to distance myself a little bit. And then how do I address that if she calls me out? I don't think you have to go cold turkey on her. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, can you find a happy ground where maybe, you hang out with her, but maybe you don't go out to dinner with her, or maybe it's just a little more selective of the type of environments you put yourself in with her, friend groups, situations, things like that, And yeah, like maybe if the worst thing you do is be a little distant and a little cold and almost in a flirting way,
Yeah.
I don't think that's the worst thing, where it maybe acts.
Okay.
I don't think it would be that bad if you changed your behavior that made her ask, why is she, you're acting different. Why are you acting different? And
what do I say? That's because I think she would, if I did this, which I feel like I kind of have been the last couple of weeks. And every time I do it, and I'm not doing it to like play games at all. I'm just trying to be protective of my feelings. And I see myself and feel myself every time we hang out, the feelings get more and more. And I'm like, I don't want to be involved in a situation where I don't know what the ending would be. And so I feel myself pull away. That's when she starts like flirting more or like doing things that pull me right back in. And then I'm like, well, I don't know how to respond to this. Or
it's
put
tough.
distance when she's having the opposite reaction.
It's tough. Yeah. I think you're just going to have to play it by ear. I think until she calls you out, so to speak. It's one thing for her to wonder if she's wondering, but if she says hey, why? Maybe that's your signal to say, I wouldn't go all the way, but you just say, I think you're amazing. And I guess, I think you're wonderful. And maybe you can kind of be cryptic. I just think given how I feel about you as a person, I think it's just kind of inappropriate for me to put myself in situations with you while you're in a relationship. And that's saying a lot, but it's not going all the way, so to speak, And if she's like, well, what do you mean by that? And you could just say listen, I think maybe you have a sense, but I really don't even feel comfortable saying more while you're in a relationship, And she can get frustrated at you for that and be like, well, why can't you tell me? But you could just say, hey, listen, there's just certain things I don't say to people who are in relationships because regardless if I agree with any relationship, I want to respect the relationships that people are in. And she can kind of figure out the rest. But I think being being cryptic like that will still, I think, protect you and kind of setting a foundation of the type of morals and communication that you would want if you two maybe someday down the road enter in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You're setting that expectation up front. It might seem silly. She might roll her eyes at you. She might be like, oh my God, you're being so dramatic, or why can't you just tell me, and things like that. But if the worst thing that happens out of this is she sees you as someone who just truly respects people who are in relationships, and regardless of how you feel about your friends' partners, that you're not going to flirt or express your feelings with someone who is committed to someone else. And that's a standard that you want to set, not only for yourself, but the people who are around you, Maybe it's something like that. You kind of thread the needle. Does that make sense?
It's like a happy medium.
Yeah,
no, definitely.
Yeah, it's not like, well, because I'm in love with you, or because I have such a crush on you. And I think, instead of saying that, you could just be like, to be honest, I think you're amazing. I think you're really special. I think you deserve the world. But sometimes there's just things I would like to talk to you about that I just can't because you're in a relationship. So that's probably why I've been acting a little distant.
I really like that approach because I don't want to be perceived as someone that's trying to meddle with her relationship at all. Yeah. And I genuinely am not. So
that way, she's coming to you. Yeah.
Yeah. And some of the things she says to me, I'm like, I feel weird that you just said that to me because you're in a relationship. That's how much she flirts with me. At least I perceive it as flirting. I don't know what she's perceiving it as.
Maybe you can just make a joke. And next time she says that, you can be like, I'm gay, right?
I could totally, that'd be funny.
And
I should do that.
You're beautiful. Yeah. So and you're in a relationship. So I'm, as much as I love you flirting with me, you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
And just call it out.
And she can fill in the blanks. She's very intuitive. So I honestly don't think she would be shocked if this conversation happened at this point.
Yeah, because it's almost in a weird way, I feel like it's almost, you tell me, but it's almost disrespectful to gay people to act as if it's different because she's a woman and I'm dating a man, and so I can say things to her. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if she sees it that way, but it's you're gay. you're attracted to women.
Mhm.
And if she's flirting with you in a way that like you might find attractive, it can be confusing to you, and that's not fair to you. And she should, recognize that.
You're saying that's exactly what my friends are telling me, that she's being disrespectful towards gay people because of how much she's flirting.
Yeah, kind of. And she probably doesn't mean to be, and like she's, but
I don't think she is. Like, I really don't think so. But
I'm not trying to make a big deal about, but I just think, I think it's, you've heard me on the show before. I just think it's very easy for us when we're in these kind of situations in our life that we're not happy with, we lie to ourselves. We justify our actions. And I think, she's certainly not trying to be disrespectful, but I think she is justifying her actions and probably lying to herself and telling herself it's no big deal. And, a lot of gay people have lied to themselves before about their own sexuality before they came out, right? So, and maybe she's going through that. But either way, she is dismissing the fact that you're gay and that you're attracted to women, and the fact that she's in a relationship. She is acting in a way towards you based off of how you're seeing that she shouldn't be acting because she's in a relationship. And if she is not gay, then she shouldn't be teasing you and leading you on. And if she is struggling with her sexuality, then all the same, she should still be respecting the fact that you're a person too with feelings, and you're trying to do your best to respect her choices in her relationship. And, she owes you that as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think the answer, you confirmed what I was just like, should I just do it? But this kind of confirmed I should just be patient. And then I like your idea of the happy medium, threading the needle when that conversation comes naturally.
Yeah, let her come to you, and then you can be honest with her rather than you saying, I need to talk to you about something. And then all of a sudden you get labeled as the home wrecker or something like that.
Yeah. Not something I want.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Well, certainly keep us posted. We'd love to know what eventually happens, because I'm sure it sounds like something's going to happen sooner than later. Yeah.
It just feels like it's just escalating, and I'm just wondering what will happen.
And until then, maybe the only relationship advice that you should give her about her current relationship is you deserve to be happy, and you deserve to not feel the way you do in any relationship, and you just have to ask yourself, how long are you willing to, stay in this kind of state of mind that you've currently been staying in with this person? Or is there maybe something else better for you? I wouldn't go any further than that, because sometimes people stuck in relationships on and off again, it's just that fear of moving on. It's just like, especially if this is her first love and things like that. It
is.
Yeah, it's really hard to get over that first person. So just giving that person confidence that it's going to be okay if they choose to finally move on is the best thing you can do as a friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. My pleasure. Take care. Keep us posted.
Thank you. I will.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. It's that time of year. Holidays are upon us. The seasons are changing. The days are shorter. There's a lot of seasonal blues this time of year, especially with the holidays. Sometimes the holidays can feel lonely even when you're around family, and we all have that type of family drama that just gives us anxiety. Well, it's a great time to maybe think about some therapy. Maybe some mental health help is in your future. Well, BetterHelp is helping people discover therapy like never before, because therapy is one of those things where it's hard to start. So many excuses, so many ways to avoid getting into therapy, finding the right therapist, someone that you connect with. The cost obviously is an issue. Well, BetterHelp has a therapy that's far more affordable than in-person therapy, and it's super convenient. You can do it from the comfort of your home, your car, on a walk, your phone, tablet, computer. And because BetterHelp is working with thousands and thousands of therapists every day, it's vastly increases your chances of connecting with a therapist that's right for you. You go to BetterHelp.com, you tell them what you're looking for, what your problems are, what you want to talk about. Anything is open, and they'll connect you with a therapist that they think is right for you. But sometimes you have to take a couple swings at the bat before you hit a home run, and BetterHelp makes it super and easy to do that. If you find like the first therapist you talk to, it's like, yeah, they're fine, they're great, but I don't know, I just don't want to share my deepest, darkest secrets with this person. That's a totally valid thing.
Also, it's very personalized, because I matched with a therapist at first, and then our schedules just weren't aligning because we were in different time zones. And so I reached out to BetterHelp and I said, hey, here's the time slot in which I would really like to meet with someone. She's not usually available then. Is there a chance to switch? And I got a personalized email back, like not a robot, an actual person And she'd listed out 3 different options for me with their like profiles and their usual like Thursday availabilities. And it was just so nice. And you feel really cared for.
I love that. Well, find your bright spot this season with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/VIALL today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/VIALL. BetterHelp.com/VIALL. Rakuten, all you shoppers out there, if you love shopping and you love earning cash back, well, Rakuten is made for you. If you are getting ready for your holiday shopping at maybe it's Bloomingdale's, maybe it's Walmart, maybe it's Adidas, maybe it's Nike, really, it's the list goes on. And if you're not using Rakuten, you are literally missing out on having money being sent to you, either whether it's directly into a PayPal account or just receiving a check. Rakuten is a way that you can shop and earn cash back on top of the biggest sales of the season, so you get the most savings. And it's easy to use. Just start your shopping at Rakuten.com or use the Rakuten app. You'll get your cash back payments through, again, PayPal or a check. Rakuten partners with over 3,700 stores. I mean, it's an amazing list of stores. Walmart.
Ugh. It's great. Like, here's the thing. They're working with stores you're already going to be shopping at. And everybody knows it can be very fun to do holiday shopping until you see that final total in your cart and you're like, oh, gulp. Well, here we go. You're going to buy people gifts anyways. These are stores you're already going to. You might as well then treat yourself, get yourself a gift too, in the form of cash back. It's genius.
The stores pay Rakuten for sending them shoppers, and Rakuten shares the money with you as cash back. Join for free at Rakuten.com or get the Rakuten app. That is Rakuten, Rakuten.com or the Rakuten app today. Nutrafol. Isn't it amazing what Nutrafol is doing?
Hair thinning will happen to approximately 1 in 2 women. So if you're among them, know that you're not alone. Thinning is extremely normal, and Nutrafol helps women address it from within using their science-backed supplements. So whether you're going through postpartum or menopause, maybe a plant-based lifestyle or different life stages, Nutrafol has 4 unique formulas to support women. Each is physician formulated using drug-free, science-backed ingredients, so you know you get the most reliable results. And speaking of results, I think it's something as crazy as 86% of women reported improved hair growth after taking Nutrafol Women's Hair Growth Supplement for 6 months.
I've been taking Nutrafol for probably 4 months now. And maybe like 2 months in, I just noticed I was like, oh, like my hair is falling out less in the shower. And it is such a good feeling because especially whether it's like stress or other factors, like hair loss is a really like scary, stressful thing. And so I've been really pleased with Nutrafol and the results I've seen.
Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement clinically shown to improve visible thickness and strength. Go to Nutrafol.com to take their hair health wellness quiz. Identify causes of your thinning, and Nutrafol will give you a personalized plan for better hair growth through their whole body health approach. Take the first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter promo code The Viall Files. Find out why over 4,000 healthcare professionals recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code The Viall Files. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code The Viall Files. How's it going?
Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm 27. And my boyfriend will not eat me out, and I feel like it's going to ruin our relationship.
Okay, well, first of all, I just want to give you my condolences. I am sorry you're going through this. How long have you been dating this guy?
Over a year.
Okay.
So like a little over a year, yeah.
And was it something that from the get he's never done or he refuses to do, or is it something more like he's done it and now he's giving you the whole like I just don't enjoy it type of thing?
So I think it was something from the beginning that he wouldn't do. I think like maybe, I don't know, I would say like halfway into the relationship, I was kind of like, hey, you're not doing this. And like, that's something that I would like you to do. And then he did it like once. And then he was like, yeah, I did it. See? And then, after that, it was like months go by. And I'm like, hey, remember the conversation we had about you doing this, when we have sex? And he was like, oh, yeah, well, I feel like it feels to me like there's a lot of excuses. And I just don't understand. And I I really like him. I think the relationship is going really well, except for this one thing. And so I just don't want to get to a place where, I feel like I want to step out of the relationship because of it.
Does he enjoy oral sex? And in terms of receiving it, do you give? Does he expect it? Where are we on that department?
He does not. I don't think he expects it. I do give, but I do feel like I've reached a point where I'm like not really into it anymore, because I think I've gotten to a place of pettiness of like, well, if you're not going to do it, then I'm not going to do it. But it's not something that like I've asked him, and it seems like it's like, oh, like I don't need it. Like it's not
Sure.
like I like it, but it's not like at the top of my list.
Okay. This is a touchy one, because I could see both sides. Like on one side, right, the argument is, people have a right to not be into certain things. We don't want our partners to do anything they're not comfortable with. We want our partners to enjoy sex. So, and that experience. So making them doing something they don't like seems counterintuitive, right? On the flip side, we also have the right to enjoy sex and to live out our fantasies within reason with the people we're in relationships with. And
Right.
kind of how do we strike that balance? I mean, every relationship, we have to make compromises and sacrifices for. Every relationship, we even the people we're like, oh, this is so great. We're going to find one, two, or things about them that make us think, yeah, I'd prefer that to be different about them, type of thing. We want them to work on things or act a certain way and yada, yada, yada. This is a very specific thing. And I think for you, you're just going to have to think about this relationship as a whole. How old are you again?
27. He's
27.
31.
Okay. So, I mean, you're young, but you're not. I don't know what your like relationship goals are. Like, do you want to get married or like, do you want to?
I do want to get married.
Okay.
That's a conversation we had. Like, I think this is one of the relationships that I went into that I was like, I understand letting things happen naturally, but like my intent in dating at this point in my life is to date, to get married. Like, I'm not interested in other things at this point.
So that's good to know, right? And I'm assuming, like you said, he is someone that not only you're in a relationship with, but you're seeing him as a potential life partner. Maybe you're not there yet, you're not engaged, so you haven't decided, but you're dating this person with intentions. And as much as it is great to get oral sex, like, could you imagine if someone was like, why did you and Natalie break up? It was like, she wouldn't suck my dick. Like. Imagine the video, right?
Absurd, it does sound absurd, but I feel like long term, like I think what you're saying is my thought process, right? So like maybe right now I'm okay with like every couple of months, which I'm really not okay with that. Otherwise, I wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah.
But I think my thought process is like, will I be 5 years into this relationship and, I have like someone at work that I kind of like, and now I'm like, oh, well, do you want to like go down on me because I'm so like, you know what I mean? And obviously I can control my actions. Like I'm an adult, but I just feel like, I don't know. It's just something for me. It's something that I feel like I need in sex. Like, I think that in the past, like that is the way I've been sexually satisfied. Like, so for me, I just feel like, well, like, am I just going to be sexually unsatisfied for the rest of my life because I chose to be with this person? Like,
just for clarifying, I know this is a bit TMI, but we've talked about this on the show. Like, a lot of women can't climax from penetrative sex, and oral stimulation or stimulation through like vibrators or fingers and things like that. So I'm assuming you're suggesting that you maybe fall in that category where you maybe like sex and all, but when it comes to you climaxing or having orgasms, that's not working for you.
That exactly.
Does he know that?
I feel like I did say that in so many words, but then I feel like his response is like, well, when we have sex, like you enjoy it. And it seems like, your client, like, it seems like this is happening to me. So I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
That's an insane response from him. I always kind of blown away by sometimes the responses we get from men. So this is where you, I think, have, what's the word I'm looking for? But one, if this is someone that you think you could marry, as I'm sure you've heard me say before, then you need to figure out whether you can have tough conversations with this person. You need to be able to know if you can just be direct and honest with him, even at the risk of it feeling a little uncomfy and things like that. So he needs to understand that, you just simply don't climax from penetrative sex. It has nothing to do with him. This is not the moment for him to make it about him or, stroke his ego or have it be a reflection on his manhood. It's just, it doesn't happen for you.
It's just a thing.
It's just a thing.
I feel like my question is, how many times do I have the same conversation? Because this is something we've spoken about at least a handful of times at this point.
But I guess here's what I'd like to know. Let's role play for a second. Of all the conversations you had, I'm him, you're me. What is the most direct conversation you had? The reason I'm saying this is because it doesn't matter how many conversations you had about the topic. If all those conversations were more passive aggressive than direct, kind of said something, but not all of it. And maybe you did, but when I asked you if he knows that you don't have climax of penetrative sex, it seems like maybe you didn't fully articulate that. I don't know, but I'm just curious how you communicated that, because you might have had 5 conversations about the topic, but you also might not have had the one conversation and said all the things that really need to be said, type of thing. And so we just have to figure out what that is.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I've had the conversation of very directly of like, why won't you eat me out? Like, I've even gone as far as like, listen, like, I'm a very hygienic person. I'm a very clean person. Like, but like, is there like, do I have an issue that like I need to get checked? Like, is there something wrong with me that, this is something that you don't want to do? And he says no. And then I feel like the times, every time I bring it up, like he'll then try to do it. And he's like, oh, okay. Like I did it. Like, did I do a good job? No, it wasn't a good job. And I'm very like vocal about that. And I'm like, do I need to send you videos? Like, how do we get to a place where we can make you more comfortable? So I think I've really, really tried to be very direct, but I also like, I don't want to be mean about it. And I do have like a tendency of being direct to a point of meanness. So I just want to kind of avoid that because I don't want to make him feel
definitely
like
don't
bad.
want to be mean. Like these conversations are always hard to have, and as a guy, it's probably, from your point of view, it's probably even harder to have with him because as a guy, he can be ultra sensitive and you're trying to communicate your needs. And it's such a topic where it's going to be so easy for him to make this about him, and his performance and things like that. And if he's enough and yada, yada. And you're like, I'm literally trying to talk about my needs, not your needs right now. And I think these types of conversations get derailed easily. I guess, have you ever asked him? It's just like, what would you do if if you couldn't ejaculate from having sex with me? And then what would happen if I told you that, well, I'm sorry, I just don't suck dick? Like, what would you do? And I'm sure you'll say things like, obviously, I want you to enjoy making love to me. I want you to enjoy being intimate with me. And I don't want you to go down with me if I feel like you fucking hate it. But, sometimes being in a relationship is doing things for our partners and putting on a good face, I think there's a lot of women out there listening being like, I fucking hate sucking dick, but every time I fucking do, I go down there like a fucking champ and I perform. Yeah. And it's like,
I don't like doing it, but
you like doing it for him.
Well, like, yeah, I guess. Like, it's not something I enjoy, but I'm like, I'll like, whatever, like, I'll do it. Like, this is this is part of
But
what
you don't
this
make,
is, so
but
I don't mind it.
you don't like make it seem like you're suffering through it either, probably, I'm guessing.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely not. No.
So yeah, I think maybe ask him that question. Like, what if you were me? Like, and just, I think instead of getting mad and angry, just go from a place of like, I'm really struggling here. I'm having a hard time here, and I'm really concerned because I don't want this to be about like, oh, you won't go down on me. This is about like, I want to be in a relationship where I have orgasms. And then if he does the whole thing, well, oh, we don't want to like having, I can like having sex with you and not orgasm. I still enjoy it. I still only being intimate with you. But just because I don't orgasm doesn't mean I don't enjoy it. But at the same time, I do, as a woman, want to orgasm. And I want to be with someone who, is willing to do that for me, and doesn't make me feel like they're suffering through it. Ask him to answer that question and see what he says.
I don't know. We're young. Like, I feel like we should be, more active than we are just generally. So I think it's just a weird thing to navigate, even, but we both like are adults and have careers and we see each other on the weekend. But even then, like the whole weekend can go by and I'm like, oh, like, are we going to do this? Like, so I think it's just maybe him as a whole may not be very, I don't know, sexual.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like he's a sexual guy, right? You're just going to have to decide when you take that information and kind of insert it into like how you see him as a whole, how do things add up? What are things about the relationship that you like? What are things that he does do that you really value that you're not sure if you can find somewhere else? I mean, eventually down the road, you'll be less concerned about oral sex, but that's, that might be 20, 30 years from now. And right now you're like, well, great. That's 20, 30 years from now. But I definitely want to enjoy being in a relationship when I do want to fuck and I want to have sex and I do want to get kinky and I do want to do all these things and I want to do it with the person I love. I don't want to give that up for someone just because like they open a door for me and they're not an asshole to me.
Yeah. I think that's the hard part because like I said, I think this is the first relationship I've been in where I could really genuinely like see us getting married. Like we have those conversations, like everything else, like obviously is not perfect. And I have thought about like my 80-20 in terms of like, what are the things that I could possibly live without? And I just feel like every time I evaluate it, and this is one of, I'm like, can I really give that up? Like, I don't know, but I don't want to put myself in a position where I like jeopardize it or, I do value the relationship and I want to be with him, but it's just like this one small issue.
Well, I don't think it's that small. Because to me, from hearing you, this is more than just he won't go down on you. It sounds like you two are just not on the same page sexually. You desire it a little bit more than him, or maybe a lot more than him, and it's a priority for you to be sexually fulfilled in a relationship. That makes total sense and it's totally valid. And despite how good he is overall, maybe he's just good, but not your person. I think when sex comes into play and when we're on the side of feeling less than satisfied sexually, I think we feel superficial and we feel like it's not a valid reason to end a relationship, especially if their other qualities are, good character and you can trust him and other important characteristics. And while sex eventually fades, et cetera, like to your point, well, that's still a lot to give up. It sounds like you feel like to be with this guy, I have to really suppress my sexual appetite. I have to basically accept that maybe for the next, 20, 30 years before I get old enough where I'm just like, I don't really care. And I don't, you talk to, I don't know if you're watching Golden Bachelor, but it seems like there are a bunch of horny old people like hoping to like get one more last hurrah. So like, while looks fade and it's not all about sex and relationships, I also think it's ridiculous to expect someone to jump into a committed relationship where they feel sexually unsatisfied. Because to your point, like you can be someone who's like, I'll never cheat and I have high character. And, but as a human being, you are setting yourself up for putting yourself in compromising situations. And like, you can feel it, that you know that if you don't get your needs met in one area, that temptation will approach you, and maybe you never give into that temptation, but it will be frustrating. It will suck your energy out of you to feel like you always have to say no, that's something you're pining for, and the guilt that comes with that, knowing that even that you want to, and even if you don't, it feels guilty to even want to when you're in a committed relationship, and all those type of mental gymnastics you're going to have to do. So I don't think this is a little thing, is my whole point. I think this is a justifiable frustration that you have. I think it's less about just like oral sex and more about sexual compatibility. I do think there's conversations that you can have. There are sex therapists out there. There are people who can work with couples like you and your boyfriend and try to find some middle ground, maybe some exercises. At a minimum, you should be able to sit down with him and just lay it out on the table in a nice and non-judgmental way that doesn't like emasculate him or make him feel like he's not good. It's just more about, hey, babe, I feel like maybe we're just not on the same page sexually. I feel like I just, big picture wise, desire it more than you. And that's okay. But I do just like, you don't seem to care, I guess in a sense. Like, you acknowledge it.
That is kind of what it is.
I just don't feel like you want to go out of your way, because I don't want to make you do something you don't want to do, but I don't want to feel like this in a relationship. So what do we do about it? That's a conversation you need to have, whether it's oral sex or how he speaks to you, or his ability to balance, work and life, regardless of the disconnect that any couple has. And right now, your disconnect is the bedroom. Figuring out how to close that gap is paramount. I've mentioned the 3 B's that my therapist Darlene talks about all the time. The broom, the bed, and the budget. So the bed is one of the 3 biggest reasons why relationships don't work out. So this is not a small thing, and don't downplay it for the fear of feeling like you're being superficial or, it's wrong for you to want this type of thing. It's not wrong. It's totally valid for you to want to be satisfied in your relationship. But he needs to be willing to make you feel like he's willing to meet you halfway, and that his desire to satisfy you as a partner is greater than his desire not to give head.
Yeah. I think like you said, I think it's maybe having the conversation in a more meaningful and constructive way.
And like, you just say to him, say what you said to me. Listen, like, you know how much I care about you. I literally think about our future together, but this is something that concerns me, because at the end of the day, the way you approach our sex life is you are asking me to never orgasm, and you don't seem to care all that much that I'm never going to.
Yeah. No, that's, when you put it that way, it's like that makes it a lot more than, it's a bigger deal. I think I've kind of just started to downplay it over time, but it is an issue.
Yeah, because if you called me up, right? If you called me up and or another caller and said, I'm dating this guy and my boyfriend, he's great, and I think about our future together, but he never wants to do the things that I want to do. I really enjoy going to Broadway plays, and I enjoy doing, going on picnics, and I enjoy listening to like music in the park. And he just refuses to go. And the one time he went, he acted like he fucking hated it the whole time. It was kind of a Debbie Downer, and it ruined my experience. I think anyone listening would be like, well, how can you end up with that person? He never wants to do anything that you want to do, Well, what's the fucking difference with what you're dealing with?
There's not much of a difference when you put it that way.
So I'm sure he's wonderful. I'm sure you guys have a lot in common. And it sounds like there's a lot of valid reasons of why you might want to spend the rest of your life with him. But this is one of the big B's, and he needs to acknowledge that. And you guys need to find some middle ground where you both feel like it's a fair compromise. He can work with this. And yes, I want to satisfy my partner. I want her to orgasm. I want her to feel good about sex. And I'm going to figure out how to enjoy it. It's an acquired taste, like fucking sipping whiskey, just have them fucking like acquire the fucking taste, but also at the same time, maybe this is not him. And there is a world in which you two come to an understanding that, as great as it is, maybe he's just not your person.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to avoid. So I don't know. I will, like I said, I do want to try having a conversation again.
I think we have to just make it less about the oral sex and more about you two not being on the same page sexually.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't feel guilty about feeling the way you do. In the meantime, it's always, compliment him in ways that you do, things that you do love about him. Be sure to express that, So it goes a long way.
I tell him all the time, I'm like, you're a good boyfriend. Like, he really is a good boyfriend.
No, but be more specific. Why are you proud of him? What, does he do anything where you're just like that? I'm so impressed by you, babe. That's really great of you, like how you did that. Or I'm so, like show some pride in him and what he's done. And, more than just like, you're a great boyfriend, make him feel good about.
Be more specific.
Yeah. Be more specific about what he's done. And so, that goes a long way. It really does.
Yeah. I will try. And hopefully, maybe if he has a little bit of an ego boost, he'll feel like, I don't know, he'll want to lean into his sexual side more. I don't know.
Yeah. Couples you're not the first couple who struggle with this, but there's a path through. And sometimes it might feel like weird to like, oh, we meet a sex therapist. But at the end of the day, if two people want to be in a relationship, they're going to have to figure out ways to make it work and connect.
Make it work.
Yeah. A great boyfriend, if he is one, is someone who's kind of willing to do whatever it takes to make their partner happy.
Yeah. And maybe that would help us get to the root of like what the issue is surrounding,
it's just,
in general with him.
Regardless of what the topic is, it is tough to feel good about a long-term relationship with someone who just kind of says, sorry, too bad. And isn't willing to when they hear about ways that their partner is struggling and feeling disconnected from you, to not say, what can we do? Because at the end of the day, what's most important to me is making you happy. And right now, that's not his priority. And you need to find out sooner than later whether he's someone that multiple times throughout your life, he's just going to be like, sorry, too bad. You want someone who's always, no matter what that you feel safe enough in a relationship to go to him and say, hey, babe, this is how I'm feeling. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm not saying it's my fault. It's just how I'm feeling. And how can we figure this out together? And he should say, well, thanks for sharing. Tough to hear, but yeah, let's us figure this out. What's on the table?
Yeah.
And that's the energy that, you're looking for. Not well, this is what I do, take it or leave it. This is who I am.
Yeah.
So I let that be the deciding factor of whether this person's your long-term partner or not, because this is the energy he's giving you right now. And right now you feel like you may not have the right to hold him accountable because of the sex element of like, I don't want to be the girl who breaks up with my boyfriend because he won't eat me out,
Yeah.
But it's not about that. It's his unwillingness to try to do what he needs to do. Yeah, to work on it, to humble himself, to say, well, my priority is to make you happy. So how do we figure that out? And let's open every door and type of thing and look at all our options before we just say, too bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
All right. Good luck. Please keep us posted. We'll be dying for an update.
For sure. I will definitely keep you guys posted.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. ZocDoc. I love ZocDoc. It's so good. It just makes I love things that make so much sense. And ZocDoc makes maybe the most sense in the world. Well, if you're not familiar with ZocDoc, let me tell you all about it. It is a really easy to use free app that will identify patient-reviewed doctors that take your insurance and are available when you need them. Oh my God, does that sound incredible? Well, it is, and it's true. It's hard to believe, but chances are maybe you've recently left the nest, so to speak. You moved out of mom and dad's home. Maybe you turned 25, no longer under their insurance, and you're not really going to the doctor. You're a healthy person. All of a sudden, something shows up. You're like, I need to go to the doctor. I need to get this checked out. I don't know where to go. Who's my dentist? Who's my primary care physician? Who's my chiropractor? Who is my dermatologist? Well, let ZocDoc help you find those people. You want to go to a doctor you can trust? Well, ZocDoc, again, gives you those patient-reviewed doctors. Allie found even a hot doctor on the app. It was really great for her.
While I was on a plane, a plane to Denver, I found a hot chiropractor. I landed, I went and met him. multiple times.
It's frustrating when you like need a doctor and they're not available for like 6
And they're
weeks.
not hot.
Yeah, and not hot. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's that too.
Yeah.
So, well, with ZocDoc, you can see a doctor probably within 24, 48 hours in most cases. ZocDoc, again, is a free app where you can find amazing doctors and book appointments online. We're talking about booking appointments with thousands of top-rated doctors, patient-reviewed doctors, and specialists. You can filter specifically for ones that take your insurance, are located near you, and treat almost any condition under the sun. The average wait time is between 24 and 48 hours. You can't beat that. Usually you're waiting 3 to 6 weeks. Go to ZocDoc.com/VIALL and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. That is ZocDoc.com/VIALL. ZocDoc.com/VIALL. Article! Well, this holiday season, its chances are you might need to upgrade a bedroom, a dining room, maybe it's outdoor furniture. Well, Article does it all. I've been an Article customer since this show started, quite honestly. I've had couches from them. I've had outdoor furniture. Now, and I received this summer some beautiful outdoor pieces. Well, their mid-century modern coastal industrial Scandi and bohemian designs makes furniture shopping simple. And they don't have any of those showrooms and places you can go where you show up and they're like, yeah, it's not available for a month or 6 weeks or whatever. The great thing about Article is you shop online. It's super easy and convenient. They make the shopping and delivery process super easy. If you don't like it, they'll come and return it and exchange it for you. And because they don't have those showrooms that up their prices, they pass the savings on to you, the customer. It's fast, affordable shipping across US and Canada. Plus, they won't leave you waiting around. You pick the delivery time and they'll send you updates every step of the way. And the majority of their items they have are available to ship now. So if you want a new couch, a new table, a new dining room set, a new outdoor furniture, you can have it in weeks, not months. Article is offering our listeners $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. To claim, visit article.com/VIALL and the discount will be automatically applied at checkout. That's article.com/VIALL for $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. Article.com/VIALL. How's it going?
Going well.
What's your name?
Sarah, and I'm 27.
How can we help, Sarah?
I'm seeing my situation ship this weekend, and I want to give him an ultimatum.
Okay. Tell us about the situationship.
So we've been like on and off in a situationship for like almost 2 years now. When we first met, we lived in the same city and we casually dated. We were never exclusive. And then we both moved to separate cities. And we kind of agreed that we weren't going to see each other anymore because of that. But we kind of just keep coming back into each other's lives. And we visited each other like multiple times since. So he's come to me and I've gone to him. Now I'm in a point in my like job and life where my lease is up and I can go fully remote. So I can move somewhere. And I'm thinking about moving to his city, but only if he will like give us a shot in a relationship. And I need to like figure out how to tell him that without sounding creepy.
Why? Give me an example of how you think you might sound creepy.
I guess because we aren't exclusive. Like we've never been exclusive, and like moving across the country is a big deal.
Okay, so let's forget about, for example, let's forget about we've never been exclusive. What have you guys done? Like, tell me about the moments you've shared with him. Like, have you been intimate? Have you had sex?
Yes. Yeah.
And how often do you talk? How often do you connect?
We talk daily.
Daily.
So I mean, yeah, like if you were to like look at us interact, it would look like a relationship. It's just not.
So you have everything that a relationship often offers most people, except the label, the titles, and the confidence that he's only focusing on you or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're selling yourself short. Do you think you have a connection with this person?
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that he has a connection with you?
Yeah.
Okay. So nothing about that is going to sound creepy. Like, it's bold of you to say, hey, I care about you. I like you. This relationship means something to me. And I'm willing to take a risk because I care about you. And I don't know if you feel the same way, and you might not want me to, but that can't sound creepy. You know?
Okay.
It's not creepy to put your feelings out there confidently and be vulnerable to tell someone you care about them. Especially someone who has no problem getting naked with you. You know?
So I only want to move to that city if he like will tell me that he wants that too. So like I also don't want it to sound manipulative.
Well,
To be like,
I
hey,
think, well, I don't think it's creepy to put yourself out there and shoot your shot. I don't know if you lead with, hey, I'm thinking about moving, but I'm only going to move if you date me. Like, I definitely don't think that should be your pitch.
yeah.
Have you talked about feelings at all with this guy?
Yeah.
You have. What do those conversations look like?
They kind of suck. He's like very bad at expressing emotion. So he like does a lot of stonewalling.
Give me an example.
Like if I come to him and I'm like, hey, that hurt my feelings. Like I want to talk about it. He'll just stop responding to me for like hours on end, and then he'll come back and change the subject. So that happens a lot. And if I ever do get him to talk about his emotions, or my emotions, then it's very short responses from him. Like I can tell he's extremely uncomfortable.
Okay. Well, that is a red flag, and that's something you should not ignore. That is who he will be in a relationship, and
Yeah.
getting in a relationship with him won't magically make that better.
Very true.
That being said, that might just be who he is with you right now, given the situation you found yourself in. So I think you just don't overcomplicate this, Have you ever shot your shot with him before?
Yes.
What did that look like? How did that go?
So I mistakenly did not make it like an ultimatum, and I probably should have. But I did it over text. It was like really bad. I was a little drunk and I got kind of ballsy. And so I told him that I had feelings for him and that I wanted us to be together. And this was when we were already in separate cities. And his answer was essentially no, because of the distance. And he didn't want to be in a long distance relationship. And then I think we didn't talk for like a month after that. I tried to just be done after that. And then we just ultimately came back into each other's lives again.
How did that happen? How did you come back? Did he reach out to you? Did you reach out to him?
I believe he reached out to me. There was like two situations where we stopped talking for a little bit, and I was the person to come back for one of them, and he was the person to come back for another one.
Okay. So listen, the good news is you kind of get not unlimited, but you get multiple you get multiple attempts at this. It's just finding the strength to really like enforce that boundary you're trying to set and actually be willing to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need to do a slightly better job of communicating those feelings up front, not over a drunk text and things like that, but you're seeing him this weekend?
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. I wait till you do it in person. I do it at the end of the weekend. Now, whether you decide to like sleep with him in between, that's entirely up to you. Obviously, if you do sleep with him, it's going to make it harder. But if you want to go out like with one last bang, I'm not going to fault you for it. I would anticipate not getting the answer you want at first. I think in these types of situations that you're describing, he is most likely going to have to really actually think you're gone and then realize that he wants to be with you before he's going to give you what you want. Most likely. Could be wrong, but right now he is so used to having sex with you, when it's convenient. And the few times that you have tried to ask for more, he has won the game of chicken, so to speak, by kind of giving you your space, leaving you alone, waiting for you to get just bored or lonely enough to reach back out, or vice versa. Yeah. So I would go this weekend. And maybe the last day, just say something I want to talk to you about. I don't think this is going to come as a surprise. Obviously, I brought this up before, but I can't do this. I no longer am interested in doing this. And I think you really got to practice this. Practice with a friend, practice in the mirror, because I think saying it confidently really makes a big difference. And he has to believe that you believe in yourself to find better. That if he doesn't want to give you what you want and what you deserve, then as disappointed as you are and sad as you might be, that you're going to find it with someone else. He is not he's not the last man on earth. You're not the only person you can have a connection with. He doesn't have power over you. You like him? You have a crush on him? It's good sex. You enjoy his time. You care about him. But if he is not willing to give you more than what he's giving you now, then this has run its course. It's no longer giving you what you need anymore. And then you just say that to him. And you're just going to say it matter-of-factly. And I would anticipate not getting the answer you want. So doing that, well, you're not, if he's like, yeah, because he's going to do that. He almost certainly will be like, well, as you know, I just don't want to do long-distance relationships. And then at that point, you can say, well, I knew you were going to say that. Again, I care about you. And if you were willing, like I care about to the point where I'm willing to do what it takes to make this relationship work, including like I can move. Like I care about you. I have feelings for you. I want to be with you. And I'm willing to do these types of things for the people I want to be with. But if you don't see me as someone that you're willing to go out of your way for, then maybe I'm not your person. You really need to get fed up, and you have to not be scared of the answer.
Okay. So should I not lead with the fact that I'm like ready to move?
No.
Should I see what he says first?
It's not about you being willing to move. It's about, because people can make long distance relationships work. Almost certainly long distance, like that's just an excuse for someone who doesn't want to go out of their way.
Yeah. So am I giving too much of my power away then by even mentioning that at all?
No, it's powerful to put out what you want. It is sexy to be confident. It is sexy to be vulnerable and confidently say, this is what I want from you. These are my requests, my demands, whatever you want to call them. I don't know if you want to give them to me, but this is what I know what I want. This is also what I know I don't want anymore. I don't want to just have a hookup. I don't want to just visit each other. I want to build something with someone, and I want to build it with you. And then he, again, will most likely throw the long distance in your face. That's when you can say, well, I knew you were going to say that. I thought about that. And, I don't know if we're there yet, but like moving is something I'd be willing to do for someone I cared about, and I care about you. So if we got to that point, that is something I'd be willing to do. So it's not an excuse. And then you're going to have to make him think of some other bullshit excuse. Well, I'm just not, but I can almost guarantee you this is how that conversation is going to go. But I definitely don't think you should lead with, by the way, last time I drunkenly texted you my feelings and you threw long distance in my face. Well, now I'm able to move, so we should date. Don't do that.
Yeah. My lease is up. Like I have to make a decision by December. So I feel like there's like a bit of urgency. But I don't know if this is like, I don't know if that's the conversation for urgency, but there's definitely urgency. So like, how do I handle that?
Well, you better bring it up this weekend.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I hate that. I truly hate this for you in a sense, because even if you got the answer you wanted, you're making a pretty hasty decision. He might say, oh my God, you know what? You're right. I love you too. And then 2 months from now, you realize you don't want to be with him anymore.
I feel like I would be prepared for that, but like, because then I would at least know, like I'd have an answer.
The city he lives in, what are your thoughts about that city? I mean, I don't want him to be, clearly you're moving for him.
Oh, it's like, yeah. I mean, it's a really cool city. And like, I would live there if he wasn't there. It's just not a move that I would make like at this time in my life right now, like on my own.
Why?
Just because of the urgency. I think it'd be easier to stay where I'm at for another year. And then go somewhere else. Like,
so it's not, it just would be more convenient not to like rush your decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. This deadline that you have is really not ideal for you. Right? Because I might be wrong, but I'm going, I don't expect you to go there this weekend and get the answer you want.
Yeah. So do I tell him like, all right, you have until this date to tell me, or like?
No, I think you have to put it out there. And then decide almost independently or not of whether you want to move. Could you sell this to yourself essentially by, don't lie to yourself. Don't try to pretend that you're going to move and he's not the reason you're going to move. Let's just put it out there. Just, hey, I would be moving for this guy. You're clearly honest about that. But I'm also taking a huge risk. And even if I get the answer I want in the next 2 weeks, I have no idea how this is going to play out. So even though I'm willing to move for this guy and he's the reason, like, I need to accept the fact that, like, could this also just be an adventure? Is this a big enough city with enough people that if things go south with this guy, it could be a place where I make new friends, start a new life, try something out. And if in 6 months I fucking hate it, I can always move back. Like, could you come in it with that type of energy? Because, yeah, it's just not going to go good if you like, hey, by the way, I need to know in 2 weeks. It's, again, I don't know how he's going to answer, but logic tells me that will make him give more anxiety around it and panic and feel like it's a lot of pressure for him to decide. So he's just going to tell you no.
So what if I move there and then his answer is ultimately no? Then that's super creepy.
Okay,
isn't it? Or is that just ego? I'm sorry.
It's not creepy. Stop telling yourself you're creepy. You're not creepy. You're just not. I can't control whether someone thinks you're creepy, so to speak. But you actively care about not being creepy, so you're not creepy.
I know.
You know? And I don't know what he's gonna say about you or whatever, but like, it's bold, is what it is. It's risky, is what it is. It's adventurous. It's all a matter about how you sell it to yourself. What is your point of view?
True.
You have to own your decision. And so let's say, for example, like, you shoot your shot with this guy, you don't get the answer you want, or maybe you get some sort of lukewarm answer that he's like, well, I don't really know. And you'd be like, you know what? I've actually decided I'm thinking about moving here. And you can even say, like, like, obviously you're a big reason for that, but I also understand that, like, you just don't seem to give me what I want, but I am thinking about moving here, and kind of put it out there. I wouldn't like put it as like, I need to know, otherwise I'm not moving. You kind of have to own, this is more about like, I'm willing to do something bold for myself. I want to do something bold for myself. I want to, and you're part of that. And I want to move out here. And like, honestly, you moving out to his city and ignoring him and thriving, that's what it might take, so to speak.
Yeah.
But it is all about how you approach it. You have to find that within yourself to be like, you know what? I'm a boss. I'm confident. I want to do this. I want to be adventurous. I want him, but I don't need him. And if he doesn't want me, I'm going to find someone else that does. And if he doesn't want to be with me, I'm going to move to this city and I'm going to have a fucking ball. I'm going to be an independent woman. I'm going to take advantage of my flexibility. I'm going to work from home. I'm going to go out. I'm going to join clubs. I'm going to be active. I'm going to say yes to things. I'm going to get on the apps. And yeah, I'm going to have some good dates and some bad dates. And I'm going to have some frustrations. But this year is about being adventurous. And if you have that attitude, and if he wants to call, great. If he's not, I don't need him.
Okay.
And
I like that. I like that a lot.
Remind yourself that this is a guy who hasn't given you any reason to think that he's capable of talking about his emotions. That might change. I mean, he might open up. But right now, he also has some red flags as a partner. So instead of like getting all sad that he doesn't want you and act like you'll never find a guy like him again, no, just remind yourself that, like, yeah, he was great and I had good sex and he was a nice guy. But at the end of the day, like, he really made me feel shitty a lot of the time. He never wanted to open up about his feelings. He made me feel bad for having feelings. He never wanted to acknowledge or talk to me when I was upset about something. And he made me feel bad for when he hurt my feelings. I don't want that shit.
Okay. So the conversation would be like, all right, this is my situation. My lease is up this time and like, I'm thinking about moving. Or is that too, like, that's not bold enough?
Yeah, that's not bold enough. I think you should start with just how you feel about him.
Okay.
So it's like this. All right, let's role play. Ready? All right.
Okay.
I'm you. You're him. Okay. So I want you to answer the question. I want you to answer my questions as if, you know him best. You know what it's like to be turned down by him. Play him and don't give me the answer that I want, me playing you. Okay?
Okay.
You ready?
Okay.
I had like such a good time with you this week. Honestly, like, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Great. Well, just something I want to talk to you about. Obviously, you know that, like, I like you. And I've expressed to you in the past that, like, I have feelings for you. And after this weekend, like, it just kind of confirms what I already felt in the past is like, I think we should be together. I think you're great. I think we have a lot of potential. I think we're good together. I think we have great sex. We have fun. Like, I want to make this work.
Well, yeah, but like the distance.
Oh, well, I knew you were going to say that. By the way, I'm kind of crazy, but like with my job, I just realized that like, I not realized, but like I can work anywhere from home, and like, I'm not going to pretend that you're not a big reason for a part of this decision, but like, you're definitely not the only one. And honestly, to be totally honest with you, even though I want us to date and I want to be with you, I'm fully expecting you to turn me down in this conversation. But I have decided to move to your city. And I don't know if that's going to change anything, but like, you know, I'm at a point in my life where I'm tired of being more passive. I want to, I want to go after what I want. I want to be more adventurous, and this is part of it. And if you don't want to date me, that's fine. But I'm here to tell you, like, this is over. I can no longer, hook up with you, be unsure about where we stand. So if you don't want to try this out, if you don't feel the same way about me, then I think we should end this. And, no hard feelings. Obviously, I'm not going to pretend I'm not really sad about it. But, this is over.
We're still role playing.
You don't have to be, but that's essentially, I don't know what he's going to say after that. But
okay.
But that's what you should say. That's how you should handle it. That's how it should go. Some version of that.
Okay. So like definitely taking more of a harsh like ending.
Take out all the maybes. Take out all the probablys. Take out the uncertainty of what you're saying. You're just saying statements of fact. And listen, if nothing else, the worst thing that worse, I don't think it's the worst, but in the moment you might think so. You might just get a real honest answer by saying, I'm moving, and saying, again, I'm not going to pretend that you're not a big reason why I'm moving because I care about you. And obviously, like, I wasn't expecting you to give me the answer that I want, but I hope someday that you realize I'm worth it to you, but I'm also not expecting you to. So like, despite me moving, if you don't want to be with me, I am not moving for more sex with you, to be clear. And he might, out of a panic of you moving, knowing that he doesn't want to date you, you might get a real honest answer, which is like, please, like, we're never going to be together. Don't move for me, blah, blah, blah. Like, he might go nuclear on you, and it might be really hard to hear, but that will be a truth that you will want to hear much sooner than later. Because quite honestly, I don't think it'd be the end of the world if you move to a new and exciting city at this stage in your life with the flexibility that you have carved out for yourself. Like, nothing really bad can happen. You have a new adventure. You can always move back here. But if he's just like, fuck, this is never going to happen, then maybe that will make you reassess moving to that city. If he's like, listen, it's never going to happen. Please don't move.
Yeah.
That'll help you give
well,
a more honest answer sooner with your pending deadline, so to speak.
True.
So whether you actually decide to move or not, make him believe that you've already decided to move. It's not a maybe. You're not thinking about it. You're not waiting for an answer. You've already decided.
Okay. I like that. Yeah. I like how bold that sounds.
Don't give a fuck about what he thinks about that. Because if he has a problem with you being adventurous and bold and confident, maybe he's not your guy.
Okay, I'm going to do it.
All right, amazing. Practice. Practice with a girlfriend. I'm serious, because it's going to be difficult. Your heart rate is going to be racing. You're going to get there and you're going to be like, fuck. And again, if you plan on doing this at the end of the weekend after some good sex, it's going to be hard to like hear that no. It's going to hurt. So you got to prepare yourself. You got to practice.
Okay. I will be in the mirror for the rest of 10 hours before my flight.
All right. And just, don't be like a dick, but be assertive with what you want to do this weekend.
Okay. Why?
Because I just want him to see this person who's right now, like, you're the hopeful person in the situationship, and any of the situationship, there's a power dynamic here. and he has all the power and he knows it. And whether he is actively taking advantage of it or not doesn't really make a difference. He feels that power. And I want him to get an inkling of the energy that you just don't need him, that he doesn't have this power over you, that like you don't need him. You're not afraid of an answer that he might give you. Because right now he thinks that he doesn't need you, but you need him.
Okay.
You know, he might not even say that or admit that. And if you pointed it out, he might be like, oh my God, I would never. But like when you have power in a relationship dynamic, you feel it. You feel more in control. You don't have any fear. You're just more outspoken. You're just like, eh. But like when people do these kind of inconsiderate things to you, it's because they're not worried about the repercussions. And if people who have, you know, more power in a relationship dynamic are often not worried about repercussions because they're like, well, I have all the power.
That's super true. Yeah.
I want him, when you kind of finally say to him all these things that we role played and that you're moving, I want it to make sense based off the person he hung out with all weekend. This kind of more adventurous person, maybe come in with like, because you plan on moving, do some research about this city and places you want to check out. Oh, I've been looking at this place. I want to go check it out. I've been looking at this restaurant. I want to go here. We should do this. We should do that.
All right. I will be bold.
Okay. I believe in you. Report back. His answer is not going to determine whether this was a successful trip or not.
Okay.
Okay. Because what you're going to get this weekend is clarity. And that is what you're going for. You're not going for him.
Mm-hmm.
You're going for clarity.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. And the last thing is, if you do end up, you know, not speaking to each other again, you got to delete his number. You got to block him. You have to get rid of access from him. And you have to make him fucking track you fucking down if he wants to say, I regret my decision.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. I will let you guys know how that goes.
Good luck. It's
Thank you.
going to be great. Just probably not going to play out the way you want to in the short run.
All right. Oh, well, thank you.
All right. Enjoy the sex.
If nothing else.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to send in those questions at asknick@theviallfiles.com. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.